Brooks, and welcome to my channel here at Essentials to a Journey, where we discuss all things self-care. And in today's topic of discussion, we will be discussing how to build a healthy relationship with food. No diets required. But before we get into today's topic of discussion, for those of you who are not familiar with who I am a mindset and self-care health coach, author, blogger, and entrepreneur. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's topic of discussion, how to build a healthy relationship with food. So our first essential into understanding or how to develop a healthy relationship with food is by understanding your food mindset. And what I like to discuss with this is the way that we see food. So the way that we're viewing it, our mindset around it. And a lot of this is can be heavily determined by the pressures that society place on us. So for example, I know that there is this culture of like, we're supposed to look a particular way, we're supposed to feel a particular way, we're supposed to eat a certain amount of carbs, and we're supposed to have a certain amount of vegetables. And this is society pressure. This is society telling us that this is what we should have. And once we can begin to eliminate this, we can understand the mindset. We can dive deep into the mindset that we have around the food, that we can start to shift into understanding the way we are perceiving our food. And this, again, it stems from having some understanding of the society pressures that we're placed upon, that are and have been placed upon us. And another way to understand your mindset around food is understanding this whole diet culture. And I know there's so many fad diets out there. There are the diet of being vegan, and there's the diet of being keto, the keto diet, and there are just so many different diets that come and go, and oftentimes these diets aren't even sustainable. And what I like people to do is really focus in on your own particular needs. So the way that we can do that is by eliminating this whole diet culture and understanding where this diet culture is coming from. Are you being sold on an idea that you should eat something? Is it sustainable to you? Understanding the pressures around your food and around the foods that you're intaking will heavily help you develop a better relationship with food and help you to understand the mindset you've placed around it. So again, diet culture. And another way that we can understand our mindset around food is through past experiences. So maybe you grew up in a household where you were supposed to eat everything on your plate. Or maybe you were supposed to eat a certain amount of vegetables, or you were told if you don't do this, then this is going to happen. You know, we're all victims of, most of us are victims of being told as a child, if you don't eat your veggies, you're not going to grow up being healthy and strong, you know. And so understanding this mindset shift that we've been placed in as having these past experiences, understanding where they were and how they have unfolded in our lives can definitely help us to understand and create a more healthy relationship to food. And I just want to stress also, it's so important to begin to break free of these constraints that we've placed on food. You know, when we have these strict, restrictive mentalities that, oh, I should only eat this because society's telling me this, or, you know, I grew up with this understanding that food is meant to give you lots of energy, so I can only eat this type of food. When we can understand that these mindset shift, when we can get over the hurdles of these restrictive diets, then we can better and improve our relationship. So it really is, I can't stress enough the importance of breaking free from these restraints that have been placed on us, either by society, past experiences, or just the whole diet culture, the fad diet. So the next essential that I would like to discuss when it comes to creating a healthy relationship with food is practicing mindful eating. And I really want you, with practicing mindful eating, is to come to an understanding of your own hunger cues. So what this can mean is paying attention to when you're hungry and when your body is telling you that you need food. So if you're one of those people that your stomach is growling and you're just like, okay, I just need to wrap this up just one more hour, your body starts to respond to that. And then, your energy starts to get, you start to get lower in your energy and you become hangry. So it's very important that we pay attention to our own hunger cues. And also, another way to practice mindful eating is to limit our distractions. And we can start limiting our distractions around food by maybe instead of eating in front of the television, we swap for eating at the table. And we add more mindfulness into our practice of eating. So you can become more mindful by adding all of your senses into your food eating experience. So maybe you want to listen into and tune into the way that you chew your food. You obviously want to smell your food, and you want to involve the taste. So how does it taste? What is the texture going on, that you're having while you are savoring and you are eating? So again, it is just bringing your awareness so that you into your food experience so that you can begin to limit the distractions, and you want to place your full focus on the meal and on sitting and on enjoying the entire eating experience. So with practicing mindful eating, some tips that can help you to slow down and even begin to savor your meal and to improve your digestion and your satisfaction experience. Again, this is just taking the time and opportunity to limit distractions, stepping away from watching or having your phone or sitting in front of a television eating, and just really paying attention to what you're eating and how are you feeling. What is the feeling that's being evoked while you are savoring and enjoying this experience? So you can begin to slow down by limiting the distractions, getting rid of the media, getting rid of trying to multitask while eating, because this takes away from the experience and the relationship that we have with food. You want to really place your full focus and attention on what's at hand here, and it's you eating, and it's you getting the nutrition you need and understanding the experience you are having with your food. Now, our third way to develop a healthy relationship with food is to view food as nourishment and not so much punishment. And the way that we can do this is to stop labeling food as bad or good. If we can stop placing our attention on, oh no, I shouldn't have carbs, or oh no, I shouldn't be eating sugary foods. If we can stop labeling specific foods, we can begin to develop a healthy relationship with our food. So again, this goes against like seeing food as being bad or seeing food as being good. It's just literally a simple rephrasing of our food. So another way that we can do this is by diving into the way that we perceive guilt around food. So I know this is a major one for so many people. A lot of people view their food as being a guilty experience. So say for example, you've had a lot of projects going and you've had such a successful day and you've gotten all the things done on your to-do list, or you managed to work on that project for 2 or 3 hours and you put a lot of energy and effort into it. And you're so tired and you're just like, you know what, I just want a moment to myself. And then you go to reach for a snack. You go to reach for those cookies, or you go to reach for whatever snack food that you desire, popcorn, whatever it is that you feel guilty around, so to speak. And so instead of seeing that food or reframing it and seeing that food as a guilt food, what you can do is see this as a reward experience. So it's just a reframing of how we're looking at our food. Instead of seeing it as bad or good, or seeing this snack food as something that's bad for us, how about we just reframe it and use it as a reward system? Because, I personally, for myself, I love to snack, and I love cookies, I love chips, I even love candy every once in a while, maybe once a year. And so it's not necessarily, I don't like to guilt myself when it comes to food. I don't like to deprive myself of having something that my body is craving, or something that I know I enjoy. And so instead of, reaching for the jar of cookies and feeling so bad about it, I just say to myself, and I just reframe, you know what? I've had such a great day and I was able to get so much done. I just want to take a moment, a break, 30 minutes, 10, 15 minutes or so, and just allow myself to enjoy this sweet treat because I've worked so hard and I totally deserve it. So it's reframing how you perceive the way you're eating. And you do this by not seeing it so much as guilty food, but more of a reward experience. The fourth essential that you can use to help you develop a healthy relationship with food is by breaking the cycle of emotional eating. And the way that we can do this, a strategy to help us self identify with any emotional triggers or even to help us better cope, is to bring our awareness into our eating experience. So, whenever you find yourself either reaching for a particular food, whether you're indulging or you're overeating, or maybe you just feel like you want something and it's triggering some kind of need within you. Maybe there's something within you that says, I want to eat this because it would just give me a little bit of comfort. I want you to start to bring your awareness into these experiences because this will help you to identify the triggers. This will help you to identify where your emotional eating is coming from. So understanding the place and where you have come from and where that food, where that trigger from food is coming from, what is telling you that you want to eat, what's going on within your mind. So it's just understanding and bringing awareness into our mind so that we can shift our experience and we can identify these triggers. And another coping mechanism, what you can do is begin to make a journal or write things down. Maybe you want to track the foods that you're eating to help you have a better experience so that you're able to understand where these emotional triggers are coming from. So when you're eating, you can begin to write down, oh, well, I ate this and I honestly was feeling this way because I really wanted to indulge in this peanut butter or cookies or whatever, chocolate. And I also want you to understand that breaking the cycle of emotional eating, it's about having a sense of self-compassion, because it wouldn't be right for me to sit here and just say that this was easy, because it's not. Emotional eating, it stems from past experiences, and we have to learn to have a bit of self-compassion for ourselves when we're on a journey like this. So take, for example, when you're in a relationship, right? Let's say you are in a relationship and your spouse, your significant other, you guys get into a heated debate or argument, right? And what you want and what you end up doing towards the end of this argument is you always somehow seem to come to some sort of conclusion. You come to a resolution, right? So that's how I want you to begin to see the relationship that you have with food. I want you to see it from the perspective of, you know what? I'm going to fail probably at this, and there are going to be some moments where I'm not going to disagree with the food that I'm eating, or there's going to be moments where I just disagree with how I'm eating and I'm going to fall off and things are not going to go as planned. But it's identifying that, talking it through with myself, and having enough self-compassion to come up with some sort of resolution and solution for myself. So that's how I want you to view this relationship that you have with food. View it as any other relationship that you have with another person. See it as the same way that you go about your personal relationships. You always find a way back towards each other, and you always find a way to make amends or to forgive each other. So it's about forgiving yourself, having some compassion for yourself every time you make mistakes. And you will make mistakes. The fifth and final way to develop a healthy relationship with food is by building sustainable habits. Now, this is so important, and the importance of this is it's around balance, and it's around not restricting ourselves to so much with rules when it comes to food. So I know we all tend to do that. We tend to create imbalance by eating more of one thing and eating less of something else. And we get into this mindset of, I'm not supposed to eat this particular food. But if we can allow ourselves less restrictions by allowing ourselves to go there and eat those, for example, maybe you're super hungry and you had a strenuous work day and your body is craving carbs, and so you go for the potatoes. Well, it's totally okay to eat the potatoes, just as long as you don't overindulge it. And this is about creating more balance, not overdoing it, not saturating yourself with too much of the food, because as we all know, too much of something can also not be a good thing. Too much of a good thing is not really a good thing. It's really about creating balance and not restricting ourselves again so much. And another way that I want to discuss building sustainable habits when it comes to having a healthy relationship with food is to just give you some, I want to give you some positive and lasting examples of this. So, to help you better your relationship with food, to have a lasting and more positive relationship with food. So, I want to go over about 3 ways that I think will be super sustainable and helpful to you when it comes to your relationship with food. One of the ways that you can begin to develop a healthy relationship with food and a more lasting relationship is by taking it upon yourself to develop the knowledge around the foods that you're eating. So, understanding what types of food you're eating, the nutritional value, understanding your relationship with food in general. So, I want you to arm yourself with knowledge. Whether this means you go out and you listen to your favorite podcaster, you listen to some YouTube videos, you read a lot of books, but really arm yourself with the knowledge. And another way that you can do this is I want you to, if you have the time and opportunity, to do this exercise. And it's not so much of an exercise, but it's something that I think is going to really help you clean up your relationship with food. If you're ready for this, I want you to, on your day off or whenever you have time, you have some time for yourself the entire day, I want you to take a moment, an opportunity to go through your cabinets, your kitchen cabinets, and go through your refrigerator. And I want you to make a list of all of the foods that you're consuming that may not necessarily be all that sustainable for you and not contributing to a healthier diet for you. So this is about knowing your bio-individual needs when it comes to food, when it comes to nutrition. So I want you to get out a list, and I want you on that list to write down foods that you have in your cabinets and refrigerator that are not sustainable. And I want you to make another list alongside that column, and I want you to put in that list foods that are more sustainable. Or what I want you to do is to go out and do some research. So if this means you need to do a Google search, whatever the case may be, go on, and I want you to find foods that may give you the nutrition that you need, that may be close to the foods that you are eliminating, but more nutritious. So something that's more sustainable. So you're going to do like a swap. So I want you to find those foods again in your cabinet, in your refrigerator, make the list of the ones that aren't that sustainable, and then I want you to write and find and do research on the ones that are sustainable. And then I want you to take either that same day or another day, I want you to go out to the grocery store yourself. And the reason I want you to do this yourself is because it's more impactful when we do this, and it's really about developing a relationship that you have with the food. And developing this relationship means being hands-on. And so I want you to, after you've done this, made your list, I want you to go to the grocery store. But before you go to the grocery store and start picking up these foods that are on your new list of sustainable foods, I want you to take all those foods that are not sustainable, the ones that are in the refrigerator, the ones that are in your cabinet, and I want you to take those foods and I want you to throw them out. And I mean get rid of them out of your kitchen, out of your house, somewhere where you will never be able to have access to them again. They're in the garbage. You can't retrieve them. And then I want you to go to the grocery store and I want you to buy up all of those healthy foods, start shopping for all of it. And I want you to begin to replace those foods in your cabinets, in your refrigerator, so that when you go to opt for those healthy snacks, when you go to opt for a snack, you have, popcorn, or you have cookies or whatever it is that you like to snack on that is more sustainable to your diet. And then I want you to, after you've done this whole exercise, another way that I want you to consider developing the relationship with your food in a more positive way, more sustainable way, is something else that you can do is you can also create or track your food. I want you to think about tracking it. Start thinking about the foods that you're already consuming. And when it comes to tracking, what this means is to understand the emotion, the feeling that you have around it. Does this food give me a specific allergy? Am I, allergic to some of it? Do I have any sensitivities around it? I want you to begin to understand the relationship that you're having with the foods. And this starts by tracking it. It starts by understanding the emotion. It starts by understanding the triggers around that the food may be eliciting for you. And so that is a third. I actually have a fourth. And this is just spur of the moment. I just thought about something else. So another way that you can develop a healthy and positive relationship with food is, instead of going for, like, me, I know personally I love to eat I love chips. And I know that chips are not necessarily always good for me. Like having a chip every day, I'd probably gain so much weight and I'd still forgive myself, but it just would not be healthy also. It just wouldn't be sustainable for my body. And so instead of eating chips all the time, what I like to do is go for popcorn. And I like to have that on hand. And so instead of reaching for popcorn that I know in a grocery store that might have all these different chemicals, that may have all these unhealthy fats that are not good for my body. And sometimes, there's been, science that has shown that, and you can do this research on your own, but some of the chemicals that are in these foods and in popcorn, some of it is linked to cancer. So it's really just understanding the foods that you have. But an alternative, getting back to the alternative, what you can do is, instead of going for these, going for the unhealthy snacks, if you're like me, you can, for example, take popcorn instead of buying the ones that are in the grocery store that are already packaged. What you can do is, maybe you want to harvest it yourself. Maybe you want to harvest the popcorn yourself, or you want to buy the jar of kernels. And what you can do is do a stovetop popcorn, and you can add your own essential oils. You can add, there's also vegan butters that's soy free. So there's so many wonderful alternatives to healthy fats that you can use, and you can add these butters or these oils, to your popcorn and make this a healthier treat. So that is another way, if you want to opt for something healthy. That's a little tidbit from me. But again, these are 4 ways that you can begin to develop a more positive and sustainable, a healthy, lasting relationship with the foods and on your food journey. And if you are up for it and you found this helpful and you just want to take everything one step further, I do have a Reset Your Relationship with Food ebook, and I also have a planner, or a tracker. It's called Eat, Track, Thrive, and this is to help you to understand the relationship you're having with food, to help you to better track your food. So if you're interested in either the ebook or the food tracker, I will have a link down below that you can click on, and you can go. It'll send you straight over to my store to be able to claim the copy for yourself. And if you're also interested, you can get the ebook on its own if you just only need the ebook to help you better your relationship with food, or if you're just looking for something to help you track, you can also just do that. Or if you're looking for both and you're really trying to level up and you don't have either, I definitely offer the bundle experience, and it's definitely something that is, I think it's a wonderful experience. It's, again, all inclusive. Reset Your Relationship ebook and the tracker. And I think this is a great way to start, developing a healthier relationship with your food. And so, way to get a deep dive into what you're eating and understanding what you're eating, because I know how essential it is to, have a relationship with your environment, with everything that's going on around you. And that starts with food. So I hope this content or this video has been super helpful to you. If it has, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And if you're up for it, please leave a comment down below of any of the roadblocks that you have been having to the relationships that you are having with food. Because what I like to do is I like to create, valuable information, content around what's going on in your life so I can better, give you information and arm you with things that will be helpful and more sustainable to your relationship with food, to your relationship to self-care. So go ahead and leave a comment if you can about any of the roadblocks that you may be experiencing when it comes to food. And again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you out to self-care today. And until next time, I wish you lots of peace, light, and much love.